Hello again, everybody, and welcome to this very special edition of Freeform Friday. No, this is Freeform Friday Eve. Joining me today, a very special guest. He's the primary songwriter and producer of Jeff Tate's latest album, Operation Mindcrime 3. And I know what you're all saying. Isn't that a Queensryche album? Well, maybe we'll get to that as to how and why Jeff is able to release albums under or using the title and likeness of Operation Mindcrime. Unfortunately, Jeff Tate is unavailable to be here with us, but I do want to thank Boyd and also Susan Tate for giving me the opportunity to talk to one of the main men responsible for Operation Mindcrime 3, Mr. Kieran Robertson. What's going on, sir? How are you? Thank you so much for joining us.
Hey, David, thanks for having me, man. I appreciate it.
My pleasure. So, the very first question that I have for you is what was life like growing up in Glasgow, Scotland for you?
Cold and rainy. No, yeah, it was good, man. I mean, I had a good childhood, really supportive mum and dad. I just there wasn't too much in the way of uh, you know, uh, I wasn't too much in the way of music. I went to a great music school called Loud and Proud. But I'm the typical sort of left high school to try and be a rock star. So I was always just more interested in hanging out at the music shop, than learning anything. But yeah, very proud to be from Glasgow.
And how big was music an influence in your life? And what style or styles of music influenced you early on?
Yeah, a massive, massive part of my life was really everything. I don't think I knew anything else existed really until I was like fucking 18 or so. I just only focused on music, and my dad and mum growing up always played music. As soon as I discovered the guitar, it was just all I wanted to do. So, um, yeah, just completely obsessed with it from day one.
And did you decide very young that you were going to try to become a musician?
Yeah, I think I saw Kiss, when I was really young, and I was like, that's it, that looks fun. That's what I'm gonna do. And I just always I didn't really have a backup plan. Still don't. So yeah, just always decided to just go for it. I never had a I think it was like I wanted to be Spider-Man and then I wanted to be a rock star. There was no like regular job in between that.
All right. And one of my other questions is did you feel that there was any future for you, musically speaking, if you were to have remained in Scotland?
I don't think I really thought about it if I stay. I just always knew that I wanted to. To me, Los Angeles was like my mecca. I am growing up watching the documentaries of Motley Crue and all the. But I always just something was calling me to Los Angeles. But when I was younger, I got a management deal out in Germany in Berlin. At the time, I think I was so young and I was trying to be on stage and do this big show, and people were kind of like, "Who the fuck is this kid? Who does he think he is?" So going to somewhere where people didn't know me was great because I could kind of be a character. They didn't know like that's Kieran from down the shot. I could be somebody else. I could be a character. So I guess I always understood the importance of getting out of the whole, your hometown. But even for local bands, just driving a couple hours away, playing a show, that's such a huge difference. And I definitely wanted to travel and expose myself to as many people as possible.
And how did you meet the love of your life, Heather Vixen?
That's a good question. She's fucking right here. Say hi. She's here with her dog. She's on tour. They said, "How did we meet?" I was at the Whiskey a Go Go, seen a show, and she came to Los Angeles a lot. And I just kept seeing this girl around, and I was like, "Who is this girl?" And I thought she was looking at me too. Maybe she wasn't. But yeah, so I ended up just messaging her on Instagram, and then we've been hanging out. We were friends, and then Yeah, just happens. So
All right. And how does it make you feel when music journalists label you as a dream pop or emo rock, even though no one even uses the term emo anymore? That's like an ancient relic from the crypt, or dark rock or gothic artist.
yeah, I saw that. Somebody said that. I don't look up like if you Google a bit like somebody said though, like you're like it says like Kieran is like emo pop or something. I don't care. I mean, whatever, call it whatever you want. I think I've definitely made some dark rock music. I've made some pop music. I've made some dance. So I've made a bunch of music for everybody. I guess when I was younger, I was a little bit heavier in the eyeliner, and I had the time to do it. So maybe some of the old pictures are that. But yeah, I mean, if the worst thing they're saying is emo or whatever, that's fine. They can call me whatever they want. I've been called worse. I guarantee it.
Tell us about your friend and eventual bandmate, Jack Ross.
Yeah, man. Jack's I've known Jack since we were like 15. He was one of the only people. He's from Scotland as well. He was probably one of the only people, so apart from my parents and very small people that kind of believed in me. I would do weird like I was really into Marlon Manson for a while and Kiss, so I would have like makeup on everybody, and a lot of people at that age, 15, were like, I'm not wearing makeup. And Jack was always just like, yeah, whatever you want. He trusted my vision. So when I got the deal in Germany, I was need the bass player. I brought Jack along, and when I started working with Jeff, we need the bass player. And the first person, I was like, you got to get Jack. He's an incredible bass player, musician in his own right, and yeah, plays for Mark Daly, and he's amazing bass player. So we've stayed friends for. I've known him nearly half my life now, which is good, and I've not wanted to kill him this week so far. So.
That's good. How was it to play at the Cat House? Because I know that there was a cat. I know there's the legendary Cat House in Los Angeles, or was in Los Angeles, but wasn't there one in Glasgow?
Yeah, I was just thinking about that the other day as well. Like it's sort of what's the word, serendipitous or whatever the fuck. But like, yeah, there's a venue in Glasgow called the Cat House, which is a famous rock club. Lots of bands play there, and with my solo band, our sort of hometown show was the Cat House. And then obviously now playing for Faster Pussycat and Tammy Down had the Cat House. With Vicky Rackman. I love the Cat House. It's a great venue in Glasgow. It's a lot of bands I'll meet on the road when they hear I'm Scottish. They go, "Oh, I played the Cat House in Glasgow," and they go, "It's a great venue," but the reason they remember it is because it's up fucking 3 flights of stairs, so all the crew has to load up all the amps and everything. But once you get in, it's an incredible venue. So always love playing there.
Um, Also, how did you come to Joe Graves? How did you come to Joe Graves producing and mixing your album, and what were your feelings about it before, during, and after the process?
Yeah, I love working with Joe. That was the first solo album I did, the only solo album. He's a great producer engineer. I met him through Jack. Actually, he'd worked in a couple of Jack's old band projects. And I still am. I love Asking Alexandria, and he'd mixed some stuff with those guys. And I felt like the sound at the time, that was really what I was going for. So it sounded exactly like I wanted the record to sound at the time. I would totally work with Joe again. He's a great producer. We just got the last album, Operation Mindcrime 3. We used Juan Ortega for that to mix that, and he's blew me away as well. So I can't wait to work with him again too.
And what songs got written first on In the Name of Vanity?
Oh my goodness. I wrote that album probably when I was 15, so I honestly couldn't tell you. Probably a song called Forever that's at the end of the album. It was so long ago I wrote that. After that album came out, I really started focusing on writing and producing for other artists because that's sort of where life just took me. So I couldn't tell you. Probably Forever though.
And did you have a specific vision for the album for In the Name of Vanity?
I think at the time I just wanted to piss people off. I mean, I was like 16, shirtless, fucking Bond. Like I was just like I wanted to make a statement, and I felt like a lot of the albums that were coming out, I was big into the whole shock rock value thing. I also I wanted to make sure it was sort of rock and roll, and um it's kind of a punky album. You can definitely hear the youth in my voice. So I was a 16-year-old kid that was fucking, recording an album in Germany. So I was just so happy to be there, and super grateful for my old manager Holger, and it was a great time in my life.
What inspired you to cover Cutting Crew's seminal 1987 hit "I Just Died in Your Arms Tonight"?
I love the song, man. I think originally when I got the deal, I played a show. This management company reached out to me. They'd seen me, they liked me. They wanted to, bring me over to Berlin, shoot some videos, write some music. And at the time, 10 years ago, the kind of big thing was an artist to get an artist seen was like you cover a famous song, but make it, your own. So I think the band was called Our Last Night or something. I'm sorry if I'm fucking that up, but they had this great like thing where they would just do covers but make them kind of heavier. So I originally wanted to do Bronski beat, the small town boy, but some another band had covered that metal, and I just died in your art. It just fit, it was kind of gothy, it was in the range, and we took a chance on it, and people seemed to really like it. So I was really happy with the reactions for it.
Can you talk about your appreciation for classic hard rock and glam metal acts such as Motley Crue and Kiss?
Dude, that I wouldn't be doing this, but it wasn't for that. I mean, I think the older I get, the more I appreciate the some of the more obscure acts and music. But when I was growing up, Kiss and Motley Crue are so easily accessible for a young kid to get into. Not only are the songs I'm not easy, but they're pleasing to the ears to listen to without having to think too much. And then you've got these guys that look like superheroes, and from a kid in Glasgow, getting bullied and not really having any friends. I'm like, I'm gonna be that guy. I love glam as well from somebody that's quite I don't know, maybe quite an anxious person. To be able to go on stage and be this other thing always was really appealing to me. And I mean, I love the punk rock aspect of it as well. The sort of just fuck you of Faster Pussycat. That's really in my core and my bones. That's what I was brought up on. I love Queensryche, love the prog. But if you give me I want a Les Paul through a Marshall stack, and some good old fashioned rock and roll.
What was your first meeting with the legendary Jeff Tate like?
Um, Weird. He I briefly met him in Scotland, and I got a picture with him and said, but it's just a hey, And I flew out to America to join the band, and I'd only received half the set list. There was a miscommunication, and I showed up, and I was like, Jeff was, very nice. Hey, nice to meet you. He goes, have you learned X, Y, and Z songs? And I was like, oh, I didn't get them. You didn't say, and he was like, oh, they're available online. And I was like, he fucking hates me. He does like me. Yeah, I'm fired tomorrow. I'm going home. Because he like went to his hotel or something. So I was like, that's it. He never. But he's just been next show we played them, and it was great. He's been the nicest guy, and so supportive, and funny, and yeah, he's sort of shy until you get to know him, and then he's just one of the lads.
And how big of a fan was Jeff of your previous output when you first started working together?
I don't, he wouldn't have known who I was in terms of being a fan of me. What I think got me the gig though was when they were on the fence, waiting. I'd submitted my song, and they go, okay, we like this guy, but the fact they can look me up and see I had those music videos online, I had the songs out. I think if I hadn't had those songs online, they wouldn't have taken the chance on some young 18-year-old from Scotland. I think definitely having things online to show that you're, what you can do was super important. And Jeff, or my songwrite, we have a lot of similar tastes in like synthesis and songwriting, and so it's I think we like the same stuff.
And were you nervous or apprehensive in any way when you began touring with Jeff?
Yeah, terrified, dude. It was like my first rock. Like I'd played some shows in Germany and around and done some UK touring in a van, but I'm 18, I'm on a tour bus, I'm with this heavy metal legend. I don't really know anybody. Yeah, I was really nervous, but I was just really excited, and I was very aware that like this was my shot, and I had to, knuckle down and really not mess it up.
And what did it feel like on the whole acoustic story tour to match all the acoustic instrumentation with Jeff's incredible towering vocals?
It's a lot of fun. There's nowhere to hide. I said in that tour, with the distorted guitar and the drums and the big band, we still have to be tight, but we can still, use a bit of leeway with the acoustic and just, there's just any wrong note is amplified. So it definitely made me a way better guitar player very fast. And again, I was 18, so I was just so excited to be there, being to some of these states for the first time, playing to these big crowds. Yeah, it was. I'll always remember that tour.
And how would you describe the catalog of Queensryche and the personality and working style of their lead singer as well?
Personality of Jeff is fucking awesome. Great dude. Working style, great as well. I think when I work with different artists, it's you got to sort of learn how they work. Everybody works differently. With Jeff, I know he likes some time alone with the song before I'll give him something, he'll take some time with it before we can approach it together. Some other artists I work for, they just want to sit in the room and bounce ideas across. But I mean, it's always still an honor to me to sit and hear. I mean, we just did sound check there and we played a song from the new album. And I'm like, it still blows me away. I'm like, I wrote that song with Jeff. That's cool. We're doing it live in a big theater. So yeah, absolutely no complaints about working with them.
You spent a lot of time in Berlin. What have your experiences been like in that city, both personally and professionally?
Yeah, I loved Berlin. I had good fun. There's a lot of goth bars, and I remember drinking a lot of absinthe when I was in Berlin at 16 for some reason. But yeah, I love Berlin. I think I was too young to really experience a lot of it, which is probably a good thing. But I got to see some great studios. I had a nice working relationship with Gibson over there. They'd sort me out with guitars. And every time I've traveled through on tour, it's always been really welcoming coming back there. So I've not been there in a while. I'd like to go back.
And did pivoting to Faster Pussycat, did you listen to a lot of Faster Pussycat in your younger years? And how did you get hooked up with them professionally?
Yeah, man, I fucking love Faster Pussycat. Same with that glam stuff and punk. I was brought up in that. Always knew who Faster Pussycat was. It still are the cool band in LA to me. I always wanted to hang out with the cool kids. And I met Chad and Danny, the bassist and drummer, and became firm friends with them, and it just ended up kept playing with them and hanging out with them. Eventually, the spot opened up for a guitar player, and I'd actually played with Jeff, and Faster Pussycat had opened up at the Rainbow Bash like a couple of years prior, so they'd seen me play, and we just got on really well. I think a lot of it is that to personality is a big thing in the band. Yeah, just love those guys as well. Just another road family.
And what was Tammy Down really? What is Tammy Down really like, or what's Tammy Down really like?
The coolest, kindest, person that you could work for. I've known Tammy for yeah years and years now. One of my favorite things about Tammy is a lot of other artists will we'll talk and we're friends, but when they call me, if I get my phone rings and it's a big name, they're calling me because of a, so this is happening, you need to do this, or we've got both Jeff and Tammy are but when my phone rings, Tammy will call me and I'll go, hey, and he'll be like, how you doing, man? And we'll just talk and I'll do the same thing for him. He really cares about his people and his band, and loyalty is a big thing with him, which is a big thing with me too. So yeah, I always feel very looked after by Tammy, and I know that if I call him, he's going to be there. So yeah, that's my brother right there.
And how did it feel to have Jeff really be supportive of you joining Faster Pussycat?
Oh, it was amazing, Matt. We just did a Viper Room release party for the new album, and I invited Tammy, and I know obviously when Tammy comes out in public, and when even when Jeff comes out in public, there's a whole fan aspect and people. So I was like, I'm not going to be offended if you don't come because I know this is a public thing, and I don't want you to get bothered. And man, he was like, I'll be there, and he came. I got this amazing picture of me and Jeff and Tammy. um, I was like, my fucking, it just felt awesome. So I couldn't be more grateful to how cool they both been about my schedule and me jumping around, and yeah, I've been extremely lucky.
What inspired you to write the song Forever?
I honestly couldn't tell you. Again, I was probably a bit. It's crazy. This song get covered by another amazing artist, Debbie Lisa, recently. I never expected this song to, but it's great. People are. I was 15 or something when I wrote it, so I don't know. Maybe I was feeling sad that day, or fucking. I have no clue, but yeah, you don't. I still really feel like sometimes songs, like when lyrics come to me, it's not even like I'll write love songs when I'm not in love with somebody, or I'll write angry songs when I'm not angry. I'll write sometimes whether it's the lyric gods or the whatever. Sometimes a feeling just comes through me, and it has to come on paper, and it's not mine anymore once it's out. You know.
And now moving on to the present when it comes to Operation Mindcrime 3. So this album is told from the perspective of Dr. X. So for those of you that don't know the story about Operation Mindcrime, Dr. X is a member or a leader of a terrorist organization, and there is a fellow who deals with substance abuse. So Dr. X becomes his pusher, his dealer, and also he sends this man to go and do his evil bidding. Uh, funny story though, and this is something I wanted to ask Jeff, and I don't know if Jeff ever brought it up with you, because one of the in fact, Jeff was here in my hometown of Montreal when he was coming up with the very first Operation Mindcrime, and he was at a bar. I couldn't tell you which one, but he had met an individual who claimed that he was a member of a terrorist organization, and this individual that Jeff met was the precursor of the Dr. X character. So that was something I definitely would have wanted to ask Jeff about, as well as many of the inspirations that our great city gave to him as his muse. Did Jeff ever tell you about the goal that he was aiming to create with Operation Mindcrime 3? And did he ever go into any details about the stories or the experiences that he personally went through in our city when it came to creating the initial Operation Mindcrime?
That is a really good question. Jeff has told me before. Again, obviously, that was in Montreal. I don't want to speak for Jeff. I vaguely remember. I remember him telling me a story about seeing a nun in a church, and that was Sister Mary. And I do also vaguely remember that story. The the organization of meeting somebody. I think what's great about Jeff is he'll pull inspiration from lots of different things. I'll need to ask him about the terrorist organization guy in the bar again. We definitely were very considerate of the story when we were writing the album. We again, for me, that's all Jeff's mindset. And even if I ask questions about certain things, even in the songs I wrote with him, I'll go, okay, so that lyric says this. Does that mean that? And he'll go, does it? He wants me to even still think. And it's cool. We're looking reviews and we're still seeing like people being like, does this what this means and this what that? I think he likes people to think about it, right? Because that's what a good concept album does. But I need to ask him again about Canada and what the inspiration was there. But he definitely does talk about that's where he did it, that's where the inspiration comes.
And this is a bit of a controversial question. Think I already kind of know the answer, but I'd like to hear your perspective. Tell us about Operation Mindcrime 3 and why it was recently released under Jeff's name rather than Queensryche, even though I think I already know the answer to that.
Yeah, well, I guess the simple answer would be because Jeff isn't in Queensryche anymore. So Jeff is Jeff Tate. So the album was done under Jeff Tate. Michael and Eddie have the Queensryche name. They weren't on the albums. Put it out as Jeff Tate. And obviously, I can't say enough good things and how much I respect. Michael, Eddie, Chris, Scott for all those for the amazing Operation Mindcrime album and all the other work. But yeah, this is a Jeff Tate album. This is our album. But we did again. I have greatly studied the original, and we really tried to tie it together.
And we're wrapping up the interview slowly. I didn't want to take too much of your time, and I'm very grateful for the time that you took to come and speak to the likes of me, who is a relatively unknown from Montreal, but a huge Queensryche fan. In
Okay.
closing, what does the future hold for you?
Well, hopefully I don't get fired. That's that's kind of my thing. I'm just grateful to keep playing music, and if I can keep, I mean, music's been my full time job for years now. So that's to me, that's making it to me. I'm more than happy with that. So if I get to keep doing music, writing for amazing artists and touring around, that's my plan. I'd love to work on more music with Jeff. I'd love to working some more albums this year. I'm hoping now that I've finally got this project done, I can get some more albums under my belt.
And just a reminder to each and every one of you, save the date. November 7th, Jeff Tate will be here in Montreal at the Olympia Theater, if I'm not mistaken. And
Yes,
tickets
sir.
are on sale now. And this will be the very last time you will hear Operation Mindcrime in its entirety. So if you have all been longing to hear the album played live from start to finish, the time to act is now, because this will never happen again. I had the honor and privilege of seeing both Operation Mindcrime 1 and 2 being played from start to finish almost
Wow.
20 years ago to the date that Jeff will be returning to Montreal.
That's crazy, man. Well, I'm glad you're getting to see it again, brother.
Yeah, and I'll be there. I'll be there, and I'd be looking forward to meet each and every one of you. So, Kieran, I want to thank you so much for the time that you gave me, and best of luck, best wishes to you, to Jeff, and to the rest of the band. Operation Mindcrime 3 is available now on CD, on vinyl, and any other way you get your music. And if you haven't already, I can't stress this enough. Please like, subscribe, and hit this notification bell so you get advised every single time we put out some new content like this. Thank you very much for the time. I'm David Buchanan. He's Kieran Robertson. Take care of yourselves and each other. Rock on and be safe out there. Until next time, take care, everybody.